Hi everyone, welcome to Soul Whispers Tarot. I'm back again with another pick a card reading. Today's reading is what is your relationship karma? So we're going to be looking into what you're supposed to learn from each other, what wounds may be being triggered up within both of you in order for them to come to the surface, to be healed and released, and basically what are you learning from each other? How are you ascending? How is this connection helping you both to ascend? So we're going to look into the other person's karma in relation to you, your karma in relation to them, and your joint karma. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you do subscribe, then please tap the bell icon and that will notify you every time I release a new video. And thank you to everyone who has liked my videos and shared the videos and also written lovely comments that are really supportive and uplifting. Thank you so much. So these are general messages, so take whatever resonates and leave the rest. Don't try and make these messages fit your individual situation if they don't, if they don't resonate. I'm thinking of romantic relationships when I'm doing this reading, but they can equally apply to any form of relationship, family, friends, or romantic. So I'll give you a few moments to tune into the energies of the cards. I've got 3 sets of cards today. Set of cards number 1 is the Rose Quartz Angel. Set of cards number 2 is the Red Agate Angel, and set of cards number 3 is the Green Angel, and I can't remember what stone that is exactly. So I'll give you a few moments to tune in and see which set of cards resonates with you the most. Okay, so this is set of cards number 1, which is the Clear Quartz Angel. So this is the person you're questioning about's karma. This is your karma in relation to them, and this is your joint karma. What are you supposed to learn from each other? What wounds or conditioning is being triggered within your connection in order for you to heal and release those things, in order for you to both align more with your true soul selves? Okay, so let's look at their karma in relation to you. What's being triggered up within them, but this can also be an element of what's been going on within their life before they've even met you, and what wounding's going on. So they have the King of Pentacles in reverse, and this is the Gilded Tarot, and then they have the Ten of Wands, the World. From the Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards, they have Homeland, which is Foundation, and they have Fire, Passion. And from the Archetype cards by Caroline Miss, we have Gossip in reverse, Shapeshifter, and Destroyer in reverse. Okay. So what I'm picking up for this person that you're inquiring about, what they have to learn in this lifetime, what may be being triggered within your connection. The King of Pentacles in reverse, this person wants to be a provider. They may be having some financial issues with it being Pentacles. And in reverse, they want to find stability when it comes to their finances in life. And it's likely that a lot of struggles have come up when it comes to finances. Ten of Wands is all about carrying heavy burdens. So I feel this could be something that's been going on throughout their family bloodline or ancestors. They may have grown up with financial struggles in their family, or a belief in like financial struggles or hardship. There's something they need to learn from this. They may have subconsciously manifested some struggles because of conditioning, causing them to expect struggles. But also I feel some of them are going through financial struggles because there's the world here. It's teaching them to look in a different direction is what I'm feeling. For some of them, they may not have like financial issues, but they may have been overly focused on money with the King of Pentacles in reverse, and it was creating heavy burden, and they couldn't see clearly. So perhaps for some of these people, they were focusing on the wrong career or something like that, and there's an ending to that, something major. There's an ending either to like financial difficulties, or there's an end to focusing in the wrong direction, focusing in the wrong career in order to have those finances. Something to do with survival, homeland's like foundation. So yeah, again, this is saying to me, this may have been something down the bloodline. Spirit is saying for some of them, they may have been doing a job that their parents wanted them to do, but it was a heavy like burden on their shoulders. It wasn't truly fulfilling them. It was stressing them out. And it was like they were doing the wrong things which weren't resonating with their soul in order to earn money or be a provider. But they're coming to the end of that cycle, or maybe coming to the end of a job or a career path that wasn't serving them, because tens are about endings and new beginnings as well. So endings to poverty, financial difficulties, and with this fire, passion, it's like what they're asking themselves, what am I passionate about? What do I feel really enthusiastic about? And that's what's being stirred up. Your connection, because I'm seeing in the joint karma, there's teacher and Samaritan helping people, you know. For some of you, this person is leaving behind some difficulties or career that wasn't really in alignment with their soul, because you've met each other and you're supposed to be like these spiritual teachers. You're supposed to be Samaritans, helping people in a spiritual way. And this is bringing much more passion to this person. And they are becoming grounded, is what I'm feeling, in this new direction that they feel more passionate about. And what Spirit is saying, some of them in their homeland, some of them at home, there was a lot of fire and passion. It may not have been like in a positive way. It may actually cause this person to like be afraid of their own like power in a way, be afraid of their own passion, because they may not want to be like someone in their family or something like that. So they may be repressing themselves in certain ways. Like, I mean, they're repressing some positive aspects because they may be trying to repress some shadow aspects, but it's blocking out some positive as well, is what I'm feeling. So we have gossip in reverse, which is a shadow attribute. It says, thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. And what came out with that was the shapeshifter. So this person may have experienced people in their past who were gossiping about them or being two-faced or laughing behind them, behind their back, you know, shapeshifter, being two-faced with them. For some, it could be that this person is like that, but for the most part, I feel it's other people, and that caused them to carry around heavy burdens. Maybe they were very generous and they were giving lots to people, but those people were definitely not appreciative. They did not show appreciation at all, and it caused them to carry around heavy burdens. It may have caused them to feel like they're not good enough or they're inadequate in certain ways. It may have knocked them off their feet and caused them to doubt themselves and become a bit ungrounded in anxiety and fear and self-doubt, but now they're grounding themselves again. So they have destroyer in reverse, which is intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. So yeah, this is what these gossiping people, how that made this person feel. Destructive power. Someone has destroyed this person's dreams or potential in the past. That's why they have this King of Pentacles in reverse. They may be looking at themselves, thinking they're not enough, and therefore they're not attracting enough in their life for them to feel like they have enough to survive on in terms of finances. And maybe they're just carrying around so many burdens emotionally that it's blocking them from their abundance. But like I said, your connection is really triggering this up, or you may be helping them in a certain way. You're trying to help them lighten the load. And that's bringing an ending to any struggles. So let's look at your karma in relation to this person. So you have the Six of Wands, the Seven of Swords in reverse, and the Emperor in reverse. We have ancestors, and which says remembrance. We have a fame, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but the sword basically, or the dagger, and it says boundaries. You have mystic and bully in reverse. So what I'm feeling is, within this connection with this person, you may have, you're learning about personal boundaries. Speaking your truth, because this also reminds me of the Ace of Swords. Speaking your truth. You may have also carried around heavy burdens, is what I'm feeling, in your past, to do with ancestors, to do with family, where you didn't feel like you could speak your truth. This bully card in reverse says, conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. This is what's been brought up in this connection. Some of you didn't know how to stick up for yourself when it came to family or people in your past, maybe even with this person, but that's what I'm feeling is being triggered. That's really interesting. I've just noticed that this Ancestors card has the sword as well. So you may be learning like healthy boundaries within this connection with this person that you have this deep soul bond with. You may be like sticking up for yourself when it comes to them. They may inspire you. They may inspire you to stick up for yourself when it comes to other people, when it comes to family or friends, or anyone really who has crossed the line. Six of Wands. Yeah, victory. Some of you may have had some self-esteem issues. What I'm feeling is there may be some arguments going on within your connection, or some difficulties being triggered up because you may be aware of just how little boundaries, or how you had no boundaries in the past, and now you're wanting to do things right. You're wanting to be victorious, but you're wanting to be victorious in love as well. But I feel like some of you know that this is part of your karma, and you want to be successful at completing that old karma by honoring yourself, loving yourself, sticking up for yourself. Because perhaps before meeting this person, some of you did experience maybe other romantic relationships, or like I said, family, just overstepping boundaries and taking advantage of you. So you're like, I definitely don't want that to happen again. So it may be coming up. You may be, with this Emperor in reverse, having a bit too much of control issues, and Seven of Swords in reverse. This is like running away. So some of you may have fears of being totally vulnerable, and so sometimes you may be pushing this person away, or just being really guarded, or, you know, with this sword, maybe having some harsh words, because maybe you don't know how to have healthy boundaries, or where the healthy boundaries lie. So sometimes you may be getting triggered and being like, putting up a boundary, but then you're not sure whether you're being a bit harsh, or, you know, if you get what I mean, like, not sure where the boundaries are, whether you're being over the top, or whether you're being justified in what you're saying and what you're doing. But yeah, some of you may have run away from like intimacy in the past, because this card, you know, the person's holding 5 swords, which is like the 5 of Swords card. And that 5 of Swords card is about pushing people away to try and keep yourself safe, in a comfort zone. But some of you, like I said, that you may have this confusion with this, because the 2 of Swords is left here. It's like confusion. You may be thinking, well, am I just pushing this person away and being overly sensitive, or am I doing the right thing? And that, because it may be like you may feel out of your depth, like you may have never really stuck up for yourself in the past and just thought it was easier to have no boundaries. But this person's helping you remember or see some like negative patterns within your family bloodline, and I feel you're both helping each other with that. Whatever conditioning our parents had from their parents and so on and so forth, it gets passed down. And I feel like for the people that have picked set of cards number 1, you're both really learning and becoming consciously aware of those bloodline patterns that weren't serving, that were unhealthy, and you're helping each other to break those patterns so you don't pass along like these negative traits or these wounds or these limitations to further generations. So you have Mystic, revels in intimate union with the divine. So this connection is helping you connect more with your spirituality, with your spirit guides, with soul family. And yeah, there's this Bully card, which was about highlighting your tendency to intimidate others or conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. So you've likely experienced this like abuse in your family, abuse of any kind as well, and being bullied. And this is why, this is really kind of coming up. One of you may have been someone that had like no boundaries at all in the past, maybe this other person had no boundaries, but what I'm feeling is one of them is inspiring the other to have these healthy boundaries. It could be either way round. So the joint karma, we have the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Four of Wands, the Lovers in reverse, the Six of Pentacles, the Empress. Yeah, Scrying Mirror, which is shadows, Ritual, Invocation, Teacher, and Samaritan. So yeah, it's clear to me that one of the main reasons positive karma for your connection is to be teachers, is to illuminate each other's shadow aspects. And there's this really freaky witch there in the shadow. Yeah, ritual, invocation. So you share a very spiritual bond, whether you're consciously like spiritual or whether it's more on a deeper level without you both like fully realizing it. Shadows are being invocation, being, you know, brought up to be turned into light, for you to be able to see your limitations, your wounding, your illusions much more clearly. You're mirrors to each other. So this could, you know, manifest as arguments or difficult triggering. You know, don't ever put up with any abuse or anything like that. But this is, you know, the point, one of the main points of your connection, to bring up the shadow side. And I feel you are going to be teachers of spirituality. Ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. So yeah, I feel both of you together are teaching each other, and as a bigger like mission, spiritual mission, you'll be teaching other people. Communicating knowledge, experience, skill, and wisdom. And Samaritan refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. So yeah, helping each other and helping other people. So let's look at the tarot cards. Seven of Cups in reverse. Lovers in reverse. So for some of you, there may have been this confusion within your connection. Perhaps some triggering has been coming up, or arguments or something like that, and it's caused both of you to think, with this Seven of Cups in reverse, am I taking up the right cup in being in this connection? Or should I choose a different cup, a different direction, a different person? Lovers in reverse, again, it's like, to me this is saying you have a deep divine connection, whether you're twin flames or soulmates. For some of you, it could be like it's purely a karmic relationship for learning, but for the most part, I feel this is a deep bond that's meant to be help you both create healthy, firm foundations. This is often the marriage card, the Four of Wands. It's often the twin flame card as well, because like the wands are like 11, 11. So helping you both love yourselves more, know your worth more, coming together in an equal, balanced way. Because we have the Six of Pentacles as well. The balance of give and take. Generosity. I feel the purpose of your connection is to be able to open your heart as well. And give generously without fear, without the fear of needing to wear masks or have walls around you. Both of you may have experienced in the past other people, other lovers who were confused, or they were wishy-washy with you, or perhaps they had other options, perhaps they cheated, perhaps there wasn't an equal give and take. So that is likely going to be triggered up within your connection as well, creating doubt sometimes, like, is this the right person for me? But this is saying you have a deep soul bond, the Lovers, but in reverse, it's just saying that sometimes there's this imbalance going on, or it appears to be an imbalance, but there is the Six of Pentacles, which is saying equally you're both contributing to the relationship, you're both equally contributing to the lessons and the healing. And then there's the Empress. This is all about growth. This is all about nurturing as well. I feel like you're nurturing each other. This is like a motherly figure though. So perhaps for some, they're seeing you as like the motherly figure, and they're wishing that they're this King of Pentacles in reverse. They're wishing this was upright. For some, they may be distracted a little bit, or they're just focusing on their foundation and building that up within themselves, so they feel like they can give back equally and be the best version of themselves, because that's what they're inspiring you to be as well. The Empress. And this is all about growth within your connection as well. So yeah, I hope this has really resonated with you, and I'll be carrying on this reading in a more detailed reading in Vimeo, and the link for that is below the video in the description box. I'm going to be looking at more deeply what you're learning from each other and what's going to happen within your connection. So I hope this has resonated. If it has, please like, share and subscribe. And if you subscribe, please tap the bell icon, and that will inform you every time I release a new reading. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you over in Vimeo. So this is set of cards number 2, which was the Red Crystal Angel. Okay, so what is your relationship karma? What are you supposed to learn from this person? What triggering or wounds may possibly be being brought up within your connection, and how are you supposed to heal from that? What are you supposed to learn? On this side, we have the person that you're inquiring about's karma, and how that relates to you. On the right hand side, we have your karma and how it relates to them. And in the center, we have the joint karma of your connection. So let's look into their karma first. So they have the Two of Swords in reverse, with the Nine of Wands in reverse, the Ace of Cups, Spell, Manifestation, Water, Cleansing, Artist in reverse, and Virgin. So what is their karma? What are they supposed to learn from your connection? What's being brought up for them through your connection? So, Two of Swords in reverse. This person fears making decisions. This person would rather leave things to fate. They have a fear of taking responsibility, is what I'm feeling. They're refusing to make a decision with this in reverse. So decisions are being made for them, but I feel as though it could be painful things happening. It could be things like tower moments, where the universe has to intervene because they're being stubborn, but then it's like kind of like a slap around the face. You know, if we refuse to do our healing work, or we refuse to be honest with ourselves about something, and we choose to keep wearing that blindfold and block our heart, which is also blocking the intuition. If we try to you know, have it both ways kind of thing, like an easy life with our comfort zones, but then we're at the same time we're kind of wanting true love, true happiness, deep meaning in our lives. But, you know, if we're refusing to take any kind of action, then the universe does step in. But like I said, it's often in painful ways because we're in resistance. So we need a painful shock sometimes in order to get us moving, you know, to make us have movement in our life. And there's the moon in the background. So there's a fear within this person of looking into themselves, looking into their shadow side, living in a place of denial, basically. And this has been majorly triggered within your connection, is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this is someone that's not emotionally available to you. But I do feel that all relationships are mirrors and reflections of ourselves. So even though it may seem really obvious that this other person is emotionally unavailable, I feel that you will likely be, as the viewer, in certain ways without necessarily realizing it. So 9 of Wands in reverse. This is basically saying when times get tough, this person just wants to throw in the towel. They want to kind of give up or just turn a blind eye. That's what this blindfold is about. They feel a lot of difficulties coming up, a lot of karma, basically, a lot of illusions, wounds, self-doubt, a lack of self-worth, which is all illusion. It's all, you know, a perception, the way they see themselves in their mind based on their conditioning. I'm not saying it's their fault, but it's not true. It's not who they truly are. But when things get tough, this person, I feel, just retreats and doesn't want to take responsibility. They feel like this wounded warrior. They feel like everything's a struggle, but it's because, in truth, they're refusing to look at their shadow side. So they're keeping themselves stuck in the shadow aspects. And that's why all this painful karma keeps coming up, because they're not learning the lessons. They're not embracing the healing work. And so they just keep aligning with these lower vibrations, these difficulties. It could be manifested as a lot of drama in their life. But overall, despite all that, I feel your connection is supposed to help them to open their heart, to express how they truly feel, express who they truly are, live their life, feeling liberated to be their true self, be authentic, have this joy and peace, being able to give and receive love. So despite that they still have tons of resistance, I feel they have opened their heart more than they ever have before. And if you feel like that's not been that much, then that just shows just how repressed and stuck this person feels. But this person is learning to cleanse themselves, to heal themselves. There is all this water. I feel perhaps you're the one that's been offering this love to them, and that water has been healing them, and vice versa. I do feel this person has been offering their heart to you, and that's healed you in many ways. It's made you feel loved. I'm feeling as though both of you have experienced childhood wounds, and that likely manifested in other relationships as well, like romantic relationships where people were emotionally unavailable and didn't show you the love that you deserved. So this person's not used to receiving love. They have difficulties receiving love. They have fears of giving love because they're afraid of rejection. I feel this person has been working on manifestation. They've wanted to create this healing, this cleansing for themselves so that they can offer this love equally to you. So I'm feeling this person has tried, and they may still be trying, but still there's a lot of this resistance and fear within them is what I'm feeling. They feel very much alone is what I'm feeling, like carrying a lot of burdens on their own. They don't know how to handle it all. They have artist in reverse, which is the shadow attribute. It says, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. To me, this is just saying they may be making out that they're some kind of victim. They may be painting a picture to you, which may not necessarily be true. They may be wearing masks, and it's because they don't feel good enough. Some of them may be, partly offering their heart, and deep down they do love you, but at the same time they're very withdrawn, they're very closed off, so they're not fully able to give you this love 100%. They're still in this process of healing. But they may have been afraid of losing you, so they may have painted this picture of themselves that they're more spiritual than what they are, or they're more ready than what they are. They may have had a lot of words that they expressed, but they weren't following through with their actions. They may have been giving you their love, but they couldn't move forward towards you in the physical with that Two of Swords and the Nine of Wands in reverse. But their love is true, and deep down they are a pure person. They are an innocent person with this Virgin card. It says, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. But the shadow attribute says, fear of intimate union. Yeah, they fear it. Yeah. The light attribute of this artist says expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So yeah, they are spiritual. They may have been working behind the scenes, trying to manifest things. This is spells, they may not have been doing spells specifically, but they've been trying to heal themselves. They've been trying to manifest. They've been trying to express their love, but they felt extremely blocked. They are innocent and pure deep down. But when we look at yours, at your karma, there's this Six of Swords. There's something you need to move on from. You may need to move on from certain expectations with this person. Maybe they're triggering deep feelings of abandonment and rejection, and that causes a lot of pain. To me, this is showing in this reading that you're this character here, this lady. Most of you will be ladies watching it, but take whatever resonates, even if you're a man. This is like the wounded adult version of you, and then it's like the wounded inner child version of you. But then I feel this is this person as well. You're in it together. The shared karma that you have is a wound, and it is to do with abandonment and rejection from childhood onwards. And your connection has you've come into each other's lives to help each other change your perspective, because swords are about the mind and perception. 6 is about love, but this is a card of pain and needing to move on from the rejection wounds, needing to realize it, even if it really does feel personal, it's not personal. Everyone is operating from, most people are operating from their wounding. So if anyone has hurt us, family, parents, partners, friends, anyone, that pain that they inflict is from their own conditioning, it's from their own wounding. And therefore that's why it's not personal, because, it's very hard for us to see past our wounding and realize it's not true, it's not who we truly are, or it's not who the other person truly is on a deep soul level. It's the conditioning, it's the soul contracts that we chose to play out, the karma we chose to play out in order to create deeper healing, when we realize it's just illusions that we're buying into. So that's why it's not personal. But I feel this connection is really, on both sides, made you both get sucked in and believe that the abandonment or the rejection is personal when it isn't. It's just a projection of each other's wounding onto each other, onto the connection. So this person is inspiring you, whether consciously or subconsciously, for you to walk away from abandonment wounds. Some of you may have had, with this 10 of Cups in reverse, you may have felt as though there could have been this dream-like relationship. You could have had it all with this person. 10 of Cups, the family, But in reverse, to me, it's saying that there was elements of this. There is true love between you, but it may not have been manifesting in this exact way. It may not have been manifesting in your dreams coming true in terms of like a perfect romantic relationship. I feel this is what you need to move on from. Some unrealistic expectations. And I'm not against love, and I'm not saying that you can't have a happy romantic relationship, but perhaps for some of you, maybe not with this person. Or for some of you, maybe you can have this with this person in the future, but you've got to realize what your unrealistic expectations are. Are you projecting onto this person some wounds from your childhood? Are you looking for this person to love you in the ways that your parents didn't love you? Are you looking outside of yourself, basically, before having the self-love? Because I feel that's what you're both doing, and that's why you're not fully available to align with each other at this time. Like I said, for some, this is a connection about learning this lesson, and perhaps you won't end up together in this kind of relationship, but for some of you, you will. But you need to move on from perhaps some unrealistic expectations that are the things that are causing your pain. It may feel like it's the other person that's causing you the pain, but really it's what you're expecting to happen between you. And when it's not happening, that's what's causing your pain. So yeah, 3 of Pentacles. This is all about working together. But look, this is what I was saying earlier. 7 of Wands in reverse. This is like pushing people away. This is like trying to stand your ground. Perhaps you feel as though this person or this situation has knocked you off your feet. You feel overcome with disappointment, heartbreak, or something like that. But to me, this is like pushing someone away as well in the reverse position. It's not just standing your ground. Perhaps it's trying to force things the way you want them to be, or being stubborn, or like I said, pushing them away because of a fear of this person getting too close to you. Even though you may think on some level that you want nothing more in your life than to be with this person, there's some aspect in your subconscious that is pushing them away. And I think for some it is because it's safer to live in a fantasy version of this rather than fully open your heart. Because Spirit is saying they're holding the same cup here. And that's this. The Ace of Cups. You both love each other, but I feel there's both fears of giving and receiving love and having true intimate union, like it said in this, a fear of intimate union. It's because there's something you need to move on from, some wounding from your past that's blocking you, maybe blocking this connection, or maybe possibly blocking you from meeting someone who's more suited to you, because it's causing you to hold on to this. Take whatever resonates. You two are working together though. One of you may, and I'm not meaning to say that one of you is more advanced than the other, but one of you may be someone that actively speaks more about spirituality and healing and all things like this reading, and then the other person may be looking up to you. That's not to say that deep in their soul they don't know these things. But I feel this is saying you're some kind of teacher, but they're teaching you in, the student actually teaches the teacher as well. And this is when they're building the cathedral in the traditional tarot. So you're helping both of you to ground your spirituality in terms of being more spiritual in your day-to-day life, being more authentic to your soul. So we have Wiccan read, and it says ethos, and it reads, "Bide the Wiccan law ye must, in perfect love, in perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, and ye harm none, do as ye will, and ever mind the rule of 3. What ye send out comes back to thee. Follow this with mind and heart, and merry ye meet, and merry ye part." So yeah, this is basically saying don't create negative karma. For some of you, it's basically saying whatever you send out comes back to you. It's saying this is your mirror. For some of you, it's saying perhaps there has been with this altar as well with it. Perhaps some of you have been doing spells or something, or you've tried to somehow go against this person's free will. You've tried to bind them to you, or you've tried to wear masks in order to be what you think they want you to be. So kind of like this artist in reverse, painting some kind of picture, painting a version of yourself to attract them. Because with this altar, it's called dedication. Some of you have been very dedicated to this path, and that's not a bad thing, but perhaps you've been overly dedicated and there's this need to move on from holding on so tightly. And like I said, perhaps some of you have become a little bit too obsessed and kind of ventured into sort of the darker aspects because you fear losing them. So perhaps you didn't abide by this Wiccan read, or the rules of the universe. You try to overcome their free will or something. And maybe, you know, whatever you've given out is coming back to you. Whether good or bad, you know. Hero, heroine. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment. The shadow attribute says escapism and a false sense of heroism. So yeah, that's where we need to be careful when we can think with this Three of Pentacles, look, we're the expert and the other person's looking up to us, learning everything from us. Or if we think we know best, often we experience a tower moment, which clearly shows us that perhaps we didn't know best in everything. Yeah, so be careful with that. You know, if you're thinking you know best and you're trying to manifest, it's very interesting because this person has manifestation and spells as well, and then there's altar and dedication. I do feel like both of you have tried to manifest like this union, this coming together, this relationship. And you have both been helping each other raise your vibration so you can meet in the middle at the top. But the karma, there's this Knight in reverse for you, the viewer, and it's the shadow, and it says allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So that ties in with what I was saying earlier. But the Knight in reverse, to me, again, it could be like holding on to some sort of fantasy, perhaps trying to be this fantasy ideal lover, ideal person, ideal divine feminine. But were you fully being true to yourself? Were you fully being true to this person? Or were you so caught up in like a bit of a dreamland? Again, I'm not saying this connection isn't real. I'm saying that it feels like there was a lot of like fantasy, which is illusion. And true love cannot manifest out of illusions. And a lot of the time the illusions we create subconsciously in order to have some sense of security, which is the joint karma. So let's look more deeply into the joint karma that you have with each other. Seven of Pentacles. This is saying to me, you've both had a time or several times throughout this connection where you've stopped what you're doing and you've really asking yourself, am I dedicating myself to the right things? Am I investing myself in the right things? And this may be you've been releasing things that aren't serving you. You've changed course. It could mean that you started, both of you, investing more in love, more in your spiritual healing, following your heart. It could be that with the Six of Pentacles in reverse behind it, there's been an imbalance of give and take. But what I'm actually feeling is there has been a balance of give and take, but what you've given is different to what they've given. You've both offered each other equally important things, but on a surface level it seems very different. You've both offered each other a lot of healing, a lot of lessons in different ways. And it's because of, in reverse, it's saying this card's more focused on the what's it called? The beggars. So it's like the beggars, like investing in things for a place of fear, perhaps being overly dedicated and trying to manifest things on both sides with this spell card and manifestation, perhaps dedicating yourselves to that because from a place of fear, wanting this love outside of yourself to prove your own worthiness. rather than fully finding it within yourself. Both of you may feel as though it's a lot of hard work, and you've asked yourselves at times, do I keep investing in this? Is it really manifesting and growing in the way that I intend and for my highest good? But then there's the 10 of Pentacles, which is all about the person who's a provider. Do I keep providing this love to this person? And I feel like both of you felt that. One of you may have been someone that was giving more in like the physical, offering more. But I feel like this person was offering their heart, their love as well. But it was from a guarded place, which seemed more obvious. But your offering was from a guarded place, which seems less obvious to you. But it may have seemed really obvious to them that you had barriers up. I feel like you're still both are investing in this connection, in this love. For some of you, it's because you are hoping to have like a romantic outcome. For others of you, you know this, it's more like you just know this person is soul family and you love them without conditions. You love them no matter what is going to happen in the physical. If anything, you know. For others of you, you feel like you're this, because this concentrates on the old man who's provided all this for his family, and it's almost like he can sit back and relax now. So for some of you, you're still there for this person, you still love this person, but perhaps you're no longer putting in so much work or giving so much because you realised you were partially giving from a place of expectation, you know, having that return. You may have moved on, you may have graduated from a big karmic lesson already. So you've not like fully moved on, but there's been this transformation, death. So yeah, this 4 of Pentacles, it's saying both of you are focusing on the wrong direction. They may have been looking at other areas of their life, which was the wrong direction. You may have been focusing too much on them, and vice versa. They may have been focusing too much on you, and it was the wrong direction in terms of looking at each other, holding on to each other for a place of security, in terms of a comfort zone. And that's not fully what was happening. You know, your connection has also been about this spirit card, initiation. It's, you know, initiating deeper spiritual growth, deeper intuition, deeper spiritual connection. But yeah, both of you are focusing on the wrong things, looking at this 3 of Cups, and there's this offer from the divine. This is that Ace of Cups. This is like a gift from the divine saying this connection is really beautiful, really spiritual. This is a twin flame or a soulmate or a soul connection, soul family. But neither of you could really fully receive that cup, which is self-love, because you're looking outside of yourselves for validation, for love, to feel worthy, but it comes from within. And that's why it wasn't manifesting into what you both may have wanted it to manifest into, because it couldn't when there was this lack of self-love. You did bring each other security in a positive way as well, though. Like your bond, I feel, is unbreakable for a lot of you, especially with this Slave card. It is in the upright position, but there's these strings. It's like there's cords between you, your soul family. Like, that's brought this security, and there has been a lot of healing. There has been a lot of heart awakening. because the bond has always been there. This slave card says surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Shadow attribute says giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. So that's definitely relating to that Two of Swords in reverse. This person may have made out to themselves that the outcome of your connection was all up to you, or all up to the universe. They had a fear of making their own choices and taking responsibility. And then there's this Fool in reverse. To me, this is all about wearing masks, pretending to be happier than what you're really feeling. I feel this is a lack of communication about important things. If you weren't happy about certain things, you may have feared really communicating that and just pretended everything's fine, but really it meant things weren't ever getting resolved. And that was also blocking you both. So I hope this reading has really resonated. I'm going to carry it on in Vimeo in an extended reading. I'm going to be looking at more in depth at the karma and what's been brought up, what you're learning from each other, and what's going to happen within your connection. So that link to the Vimeo reading is below this video in the description box. And please like, share and subscribe. And if you subscribe, then please tap the bell icon, and that will notify you every time I release a new YouTube reading. So thank you so much, and I really hope to see you on Vimeo. This is set of cards number 3. So what is your relationship karma? I'm going to be looking into what blocks, what wounds, what conditioning may be being triggered up within your connection, what you're supposed to learn from each other, what's the soul contract, what are you both healing through your connection, how are you mirroring each other. So on this side we have the person that you're wondering about. On the right hand side, these are the cards for you, and in the middle it's like the joint karma that you have together. So let's look at them first. And I'm noticing that the 3 tarot cards are all pentacles, and they're all in reverse actually. We have the 10 of Pentacles and the 7 and the 6 of Pentacles, all in the reverse position. So this is this person's karma. What are they bringing to the table? What issues are going on for them, which may have been going on before they even met you. So what I'm feeling is this person is feeling a lot of responsibility. They may feel as though they are a provider for family or within a marriage, or it could be like their biological family, their parents or something like that. Or with this 10 of Wands in reverse, they're feeling that they have to be there. It's become a struggle for them. Perhaps they feel as though they don't have enough money or something like that, or they don't have enough resources, or they don't have what it takes to be a good provider. But overall, these 3 cards together, I'm also seeing that they've been overgiving to certain people in their life, and it's not been reciprocated equally. With the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, there's an imbalance of give and take. And they need to question themselves whether they're investing in the right things or the right people. But there's a resistance for them. They're resisting taking a step back to really question whether they should keep putting time and effort into things or people that aren't serving them. Can also mean that in other areas perhaps they are like in the traditional tarot, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, they may be like the beggars. They may be feeling as though they're the ones that are receiving a lot, like someone's giving a lot to them and they're feeling bad with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse, like they're not giving back equally. But I feel it's because they're investing, they're trying to make people happy, because they're looking outside of themselves to these people for a sense of self-worth, for a sense of validation, for a sense of love. But it's like whatever they have to give, they feel it's not good enough, or they've been told it's not good enough by people who've taken advantage of them. Maybe someone taking their money, or just taking whatever they have to offer and not giving back. So this may have left some of them with a fear of like giving and being generous with their heart. They may have trust issues when it comes to opening their heart, expressing their love. They fear being taken advantage of, is what I'm feeling. And just an overall sense of them having a lack of self-esteem because other people have criticized them really heavily, is what I'm feeling. So this is kind of like the karma that they've brought into your connection subconsciously. These are the wounds that they've had, and it's definitely playing out. It may feel as though they're not like emotionally or physically or available to you, or just not available to you in many ways perhaps. Because yeah, they have cloak, which is called concealment. They're hiding. This is like the hermit in a way. It's like isolating themselves. They're not being their true selves. I feel like they're concealing who they really are to pretty much everyone around them. If you share a deep connection with this person, they may have, you know, had moments where they did reveal like their truth to you, but overall they're very guarded. They're very repressed. They're repressing their feelings, and this is a form of trying to take control or stay in control. They fear like getting too emotionally involved in case of feeling abandonment, feeling rejection, in case they feel like they don't have enough to offer you. But they are experiencing this awakening since meeting you. And with this Seven of Pentacles, perhaps they are starting to realise that they've been investing in the wrong things and it's not paying off, that there is an imbalance of give and take. Perhaps they're realising that what they're committing to, or what they are giving a lot of their time and energy to, is making them feel like emotionally impoverished. Maybe because they're giving so much to someone, that's why they're having like financial issues. But overall, they're just awakening to the realization that they're kind of giving to the wrong people who are taking advantage of them. For some, it could be, you know, they're mirroring that and they're taking advantage of you, or they're taking advantage of someone or some kind of situation. But they're having this awakening. But I feel like it's a slow awakening. Like it's like deep down they're awakening, but on a surface level they're not showing it. They're concealing that from the world and from you. They're putting on a mask, is what I'm feeling. I have Queen in reverse, which is a shadow attribute, and it says becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. So they may have experienced some females in their life who have been controlling or narcissistic or demanding, basically taking advantage, overstepping this person's boundaries on a consistent basis. This could be a mother figure for some of them. The light attribute says radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent or authority to protect others. So that could be you as well. this could, for some, represent you, the viewer, if you are like the Divine Feminine. And I have to say it, but perhaps some of you have felt like you know best, or tried to steer this connection in a certain way, or tried to make this person feel like they're doing the wrong things. And it may have just come across to this person as you being a bit arrogant or condescending towards them. And they may have been rebellious towards you. But this warrior card is also in the upright position. And it says strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. So this is below the awakening card as well. They are overall conquering the ego. Whenever I see this card, this looks like a lightning bolt. So it reminds me of the Tower card in the traditional tarot. They may have experienced some Tower moments. They may have experienced a lot of upheaval, things falling apart for them, painful things happening. If they were in a place of resistance and, turning their back on their spirituality and their intuition. So the universe would have had to intervene and cause things to fall away for them. But it was to force them to have this awakening, force them to look into themselves so they can conquer the ego. But I also feel this warrior is kind of like they're using their free will at times to try and stay in control and conceal how they're truly feeling towards you. And it's not personal, it is a lot to do with the pain in their past, but also there may be, like I said, an element where you may be trying to control things or steer things in a certain direction. And it may be their higher self is resisting that because it's not, the way you're trying to steer things is not for either of your highest good in truth. So let's look at your karma, what you're bringing to this connection. So you have the Knight of Swords in reverse, the Four of Swords in reverse, and Death or Transformation, this card is often called. So Knight of Swords in reverse, to me this is like rashness. It could be that element I was already talking about. If you're trying to force things to be a certain way, you may be trying to use your free will to be a bit dominant and rushing in. This is like perhaps you're wanting things to happen in a certain way, but you may be ignoring like your intuition, because there is this need to go inwards with the Four of Swords in reverse. But in reverse, there's a refusal to do that. This is a time of needing to retreat, almost like the Hanged Man. I feel like you need to go inwards and truly see things from a different perspective and trust the universe more and allow things to unfold in the way that they need to. So that requires you to be totally honest with yourself. But I feel from a place of like wounding of the inner child, you may be trying to force things with this person, like looking outside of yourself for love and approval, just like this person has been with other people. And I do feel like they look for your approval as well, by wearing masks, and they may want to appear to be like in control of themselves, and that's causing them to be like a warrior that's hiding their emotions. But they may have to literally be going through some kind of battles in their day-to-day life with other people, so that it's hard for them to open up when they're feeling like they have to be defensive for most of the time with most people. But yeah, there's this need to release any codependency. But what I feel has happened for a lot of you, if you're trying to rush things and force things and were looking for love outside of yourself, trying to steer this connection in a certain way, which wasn't for your highest good, like the universe knows how things need to unfold and what needs to happen in order to trigger you the most. if you were in resistance, there would have been like a tower moment. There would have been like a death, like a transformation. It may have been painful. It likely was painful if you were in resistance. So I feel like you've had this deep awakening as well. And for a lot of you, it may have been in a painful way. There's hand fasting here, and it says union. So this is positive on one hand, but on the other hand, I see this as like with hand fasting. And I don't want to offend anyone with this, because this is to do with like Wiccan, but I feel some of you need to be careful how you're trying to hold on to this bond or create a bond with this person. Like, are you trying to make them feel bound to you? Are you subconsciously trying to make them dependent on you? Because a lot of the time we do try to be like this overly nurturing, maybe like almost like a mother kind of figure. And subconsciously, a part of that can be to try and make the other person really need us and become dependent on us, because our inner child is afraid of losing them or them leaving us. So we try and make it so they feel like they can't leave. So there may be an element of that. Some people, you know, not everyone, but some people may be doing like spells and things in a negative way, you know, trying to manipulate their free will or something like that. But it does say union, so this is saying that you do share a true union. Like the bond between you is eternal for a lot of you, but you know, take whatever resonates. This won't apply to everyone. But for a lot of you, this union is true. You already are always in union if this is your twin flame. But try not to have the ego be involved and from a place of fear try and create unhealthy bonds, because then that's almost like the devil card. The devil card shows the lovers chained to the devil. It's like chained to their inner demons, chained by fear. You know, that's not a happy union. That's just trying to avoid like the fear by holding on tightly to each other. But it just keeps the fear and the sense of abandonment and rejection, it keeps it all there just beneath the surface. So we have hearth and homecoming. So to me this is like similar to their awakening card. This is all about you coming home. This is all about ascension. Whatever's being triggered that's made you feel abandonment, rejection, or felt this need to try and be controlling. This person tried to be controlling in certain ways, and I feel like you've tried to be controlling in other ways, trying to force their hand to have this union sort of thing. We have king. It's interesting because they had queen in reverse. King says enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. So yeah, I feel like you are assisting this person in their healing in more of a direct way, but they're assisting you in an indirect way to heal through triggering as well. But I feel like a lot of you are triggering. Like if you're trying to steer them in a certain way, that's indirectly rejecting them, in the way that they are now, or you're saying their decisions are wrong, they should be doing things your way or the way you see things. And that's an indirect rejection. So they're feeling just as rejected as you are, but in a different kind of way. Shadow attribute of this king says excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. So yeah, that's reminding me of this Knight of Swords in reverse, kind of just going in and thinking perhaps that you know best, or things need to be a certain way, or trying to make things happen a certain way. But you're awakening out of that. You're becoming the light attribute, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. But, you know, this is king and queen. You're both counterparts, you're both equals. And then there's damsel in reverse, and it always reminds me of damsel in distress in reverse, like looking outside of yourself for this person to rescue you, looking outside of yourself for this person to love you and be there for you and accept, appreciate, validate you in ways that other people didn't in the past, most likely your parents or family, and then that pattern continued in previous romantic relationships and friendships. So subconsciously, this damsel in distress has been looking to this person to be the one. It's almost like there's this idea that the twin flame is the one that's gonna just fill in our voids and love us in all the ways other people didn't. But really, the way that we show each other love is through this deep triggering, in order to make us eventually, hopefully, realize that our own happiness really does come from within, no matter how corny or cheesy that sounds, is the truth. So this was in reverse, and it says, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. So yeah, there may have been some projections of romantic illusions to do, again, with that, looking to the other person to distract you from your own pain, basically. We feel as though they're the key to our happiness. They're the ones that can make us feel healed and loved like never before, like we've always wanted to feel loved and looked up to, and all things like that. But really, these are illusions that are distracting us from actually healing those wounds within ourselves. And then often something happens where you feel betrayed or hurt or something, just to make you realize you can't rely on them to heal you, because no one can heal you the way you can heal yourself. The light attribute of this is understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. So yeah, looking in the mirror at self first. And I know this is always being said, but sometimes we don't fully understand the meaning of that, or we do on an intellectual level, but it doesn't fully penetrate our entire being, often until something shocks us into actually doing that, actually being that. So what's the joint karma between you? We have the Ten of Wands, Strength, Justice, Knight of Pentacles. So this is really strong. These are really positive cards for your joint karma. What are you healing with each other? Ten of Wands. The positive about this, because this is about heavy burdens, feeling weighed down. To me, this is like the emotional wounding, conditioning, burdening you both throughout your whole lives, pretty much. But it's a 10. A 10 is the ending of this cycle, so you can have a new beginning. So it's nearly time to put down these burdens, release them, and your connection's helping you to do that. It may be by highlighting or creating the sense of even more burdens to begin with, but it's so that they come up and can be processed. They can come into the light. They can be revealed, come out of your subconscious into your conscious awareness, so they can be looked into and released. This connection is strengthening you both, creating more confidence within yourselves, helping you tame like the inner beast, or taming the mind, the ego that creates a lot of this illusion, conditioning, taking things personally, getting so caught up in our emotions, which are created by the stories we tell ourselves about situations that have happened. And often those stories we tell ourselves are negative and are self-blaming, and telling ourselves it's happened because we're unworthy, we're not good enough, we're rejected, or things like that. So this connection is helping you to realize that these things aren't personal. It's a lot to do with thought patterns, and strengthening you both to come out of that. Creating justice. So you may have felt a lot of injustice in this connection, a lot of injustice in the past. But the justice is, it comes when you find that self-worth. You create healthy boundaries. You do what's right for you. You don't allow other people to mistreat you. You don't take it personally when other people mistreat you. You find your own balance, your justice. You cut the ties to things and thought patterns that aren't serving you. Knight of Pentacles. I find this really interesting because the next card that come up is Earth, and it's called grounding in the traditional tarot, and even in this one, but more so in the traditional tarot. The Knight of Pentacles is ploughing the fields, just like in this, planting the seeds. This is slowly but surely creating firm foundations within yourself through healthy self-esteem, self-love, and that's planting positive seeds, which is going to help you both grow more and more into the balance, into justice. No longer investing in the wrong things that this person was, or no longer for you investing in looking at things in the wrong way, like having unrealistic expectations or trying to force things. This is about planting the true seeds of self-esteem, having self-reliance, and that's grounding your connection is what I'm feeling. Because yeah, Staff came out, and it's stability. Your joint karma is to create this stability, this balance, this grounding. Grounding means being realistic. Sometimes we can get too caught up in the 5D and be like, they're not treating me well in the 3D, but it's okay because I know they love me in the 5D. But then we can kind of latch on to the 5D a bit too much and expect them to act like how we see them in the 5D, and then we may be shocked because in the 3D they're acting totally different or something like that. This grounding, this stability, this balance is all about us being realistic with ourselves. It's about no longer holding on to the fantasy elements. And I'm not saying this connection is totally fantasy. I'm not saying 5D is fantasy, but I'm saying we need to be grounded in the 3D, in our day-to-day life right now. Yes, we have a real connection with the 5D, obviously, but we need to be grounded also. We need that balance of the 5D and the 3D. You know, our spirituality, our soul truth, and our human selves, our human lives, our day-to-day lives. The final two cards for your joint karma are really positive. Healer and teacher. So you're basically healing each other, you're teaching each other. Like I said before, one of you, it may seem like you're teaching more directly, and the other it's more indirect, but again, you may feel like you're directly teaching them, but people often don't learn from just hearing these things. They need to experience things themselves. Some of you may have like a spiritual mission as well, to be healers and teachers to other people, grounding like your spiritual knowledge by passing on this wisdom to other people. So I'm going to look more deeply into your relationship karma in a Vimeo extended reading, and the link to that is below this video in the description box. So I really hope to see you there. And if you've liked this reading and it's resonated with you, then please like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you subscribe, then please tap the bell icon, and that will notify you every time I release a new reading. So hopefully see you in Vimeo. Thank you so much.